Greetings, we're the History Hikers. We are in Vieux Craon, which is a town that was bombed to smithereens during World War I.
It's on the Chemin des Dames.
Important battlegrounds here. Yeah, there's not a lot left from the town. It's mainly a forest right now. But yeah, behind us is a church, or was a church. And you can see like leftovers of a pillar. So it's just like a lunar landscape right now, and yeah, thought it might be interesting to show you. Let's check it out. Vieux Craon is the name of a village that was completely destroyed during the First World War. The name Craon is derived from the Celtic word craun, meaning rock or cave, a feature that plays a not insignificant role in its history.
Craon, as it was called before the First World War, is situated on the Chemin des Dames. This is the departmental route between Laon, Soissons and Reims. It is called Chemin des Dames, or Road of the Ladies in English, because it was said that the daughters of Louis XV, Adelaide and Victoire, used this road to visit their governess Madame de Narbonne in her castle in Beauvais.
In the Middle Ages, Craon was famous for its annual local fair, which was first held in 1482, started on the 2nd November and lasted for 3 days. Craon entered national history for the first time in 1814, being one of the last victories of Napoleon Bonaparte.
But the most notable event in the history of Craon, and the reason we are making a video about it, is its destruction during the First World War. In 1914, the village was taken by the Germans and its inhabitants were relocated. During the Battle of the Chemin des Dames in April and May of 1917, the village was completely erased from existence by massive bombardments by the French artillery.
Commander Robert Nivelle promised that he would conquer the front at the Chemin des Dames in 24 hours or 48 at most. But the German army had retreated to a very strategic line between Arras and Soissons. This line of German defenses, called the Hindenburg Line by the French and the Siegfried Line by the Germans, was meticulously prepared. They had positioned themselves in bunkers and machine gun nests. They scorched lands, cut the trees and booby-trapped the roads. And then the Germans pretended to retreat. The French artillery dropped 5 million mortar shells on the German lines between 6th and 16th of April. After the shelling, the French infantry attacked. They were slaughtered. It was a trap.
Near the village of Craon, the Winterberg tunnel ran for 300 meters from north to south. It was used to supply the first line of German trenches. On May 4th, 1917, the French launched an artillery bombardment targeting the two ends of this tunnel. Their accuracy was formidable, for once. Inside, the men from the 10th and 11th companies of the 111th Reserve Regiment were trapped. Over the next 6 days, as oxygen ran out, they either suffocated or killed themselves. 3 men survived long enough to be rescued. A day later, the crest was abandoned to the French. Neither the French nor the Germans tried to recover the bodies. The site would have been of untold chaos and destruction.
The whereabouts of the Winterberg Tunnel became lost to history, until a map was found in 2009. Alain and Pierre Malinowski, father and son, urged the French government to start digging, and when they declined, Pierre opened the tunnel himself in January of 2020, even though that was illegal. The Malinowskis wish that due honors will be paid to the men who died there.
Commander Nivelle could only hold on to Craonne for a couple of days, but he lost many soldiers in the process. In a later push, the Germans retook the Chemin des Dames. On the 15th of May, the French realized the battle for the Chemin des Dames was a failure. Nivelle had to make way for his successor Pétain. Mutinies soon arose in the troops stationed on the Chemin des Dames. The soldiers refused to participate in further futile attacks. Some 150 regiments would not return to the front. 450 soldiers were sentenced to death for treason, but only 27 of them were actually executed. The French president Poincaré asserted his right to gratuity. During this mutiny, a song was written on the melody of Bonsoir M'amour. This song was called Chanson de Craonne, the Song of Craonne, and was prohibited by the French government until 1974.
On top of what the Germans had started to call Winterberg, we find the Plateau de Californie. Due to its central and elevated location, this plateau was the heart of the German defenses. Today you have magnificent views over the forest that still bears the scars of war.
After the war, Craonne fell into the Red Zone. This is a zone of approximately 1,200 square kilometers of battlefield where, because of the major physical damage to the environment and the presence of thousands of corpses and millions of pieces of unexploded ordnance, certain activities were temporarily or permanently prohibited by law. Because of this, the town was not reconstructed. Between 1921 and 1927, a new village was built in the valley below Vieux-Craonne. Vieux-Craonne is now a place of memory and a place for nature to regrow. On the spot of the old town, you find a monument for peace as well as an arboretum.
We're on the top of a what's it called? Observation tower in the
Plateau de Californie.
Plateau de Californie. Yeah, great views. What do you think of Vieux-Craonne?
I think it's overall quite a humbling experience because you see the devastation that the cruelty of mankind has done to a village that is no longer there. But on the other hand, also, maybe it's weird to say, but the beauty of nature reclaiming it, because the war also completely destroyed the forest, and the forest is reclaiming its position here.
Yeah, we need to be humbled by the many soldiers and civilians who lost their lives here. Anything else to add?
No.
We were the History Hikers. If you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, and until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Adieu la vie, adieu l'amour, adieu toutes les femmes. C'est bien fini et pour toujours de cette guerre infâme. C'est à Craonne, sur le plateau, qu'on doit laisser sa peau, car nous sommes tous condamnés, nous sommes les sacrifiés.